Good morning, everyone. I'm Tony Valeri, Vice President of Corporate Affairs here at ArcelorMittal Dofasco. And I just want to welcome you all, and I'm also very pleased that we were able to gather here in person for what I believe is going to be an incredible announcement. Having said that, we have protocols in place for today's event, which include screening, masks, distancing to keep everyone safe from COVID-19. Health and safety at ArcelorMittal Dofasco is our #1 objective. So we ask that everyone keep their hard hats, safety glasses, masks, ear protection on, if not part of the delegation and behind the podium. So thank you very much for that. So I now want to welcome and acknowledge our distinguished guests. The Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, the Honourable Vic Fedeli, Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, the Honourable Todd Smith, Minister of Energy, Parliamentary Assistant to the Attorney General, and our local Member of Provincial Parliament for Flamborough-Glanbrook, Donna Skelly, Mayor Fred Eisenberger, ArcelorMittal North America CEO John Brett, and our ArcelorMittal Dofasco President and CEO Ron Bedard. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank our colleagues and partners that have taken the time to join us today. Due to our capacity limits today, we are pleased that some media, partners, and employees are attending virtually. So thank you very much for taking the time to join us. I'd also, before we begin, like to acknowledge the lands on which we operate. Today, ArcelorMittal Dofasco recognizes and acknowledges that it is on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas and Haudenosaunee nations and within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. We recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of these lands so that we can better understand our roles as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. I'm also very pleased that we could have our event here in our manufacturing operations, and I'd like to just give a shout out to our manufacturing team for their help in making today's announcement possible right here. Behind us is the #5 galvanizing line. Steel coming off this line is coated in zinc and destined for use in today's sustainable vehicles. So on that point, we think today's announcement and the location of this announcement is perfect. So to start, I'm pleased to introduce the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario. Premier Ford is the 26th Premier of Ontario and was elected on June 7th, 2018 in his first election as party leader and as MPP for Etobicoke North. He has been leader of the Ontario PC Party since March 10th, 2018. From 2010 to 2014, he was a Toronto City Councillor representing Ward 2, Etobicoke North. And prior to his time in public office, Doug Ford was a successful businessman and ran the family printing company, Deco Labels and Tags, which has a significant footprint and operations and employs many people in Canada and the United States. So please join me in welcoming our Premier, the Honourable Doug Ford.
Well, first of all, thanks so much, Tony, and good morning, everyone. And I have to tell you, I love being here in Hamilton and here with the great people at Dofasco. And so we're walking down the aisle here. Donna, which is your champion, your local champion, she says, you're in your element with these folks. I am in my element because these are my type of hardworking women and men that are out there getting the economy going, and I feel right at home, so thank you. And I'm joined today by Minister Fedeli, and you know, Vic has worked so hard to put this deal together, and he's instrumental in making it happen along with Minister Smith, and of course, your local champion, Donna Skelly, that's out there shouting up and screaming every day about let's support Hamilton. And hopefully next election, Donna, we're going to have a couple extra people here to support you down at Queen's Park. It's also great to be here with Mayor Eisenberger. You know, we've worked so well together, the mayor and I, throughout this pandemic, and I know you're working hard for the people of Hamilton. So, Mayor, it's always great to be here, and thank you to Ron, Bedard, and the entire team for having us here today. It's been great meeting some of the hard-working women and men who work here at Dofasco. Before I begin, I'd like to address the ongoing occupation in Ottawa and across our country. The situation, I'll tell you, it's blocking billions and billions of dollars of trade, and we're getting a handle on it, but it's very concerning. It's putting hundreds of thousands of jobs on the line, and it's continuing to disrupt the lives of 1 million people in Ottawa who have been held hostage. It's critical that all levels of government work together. It's critical that our police forces have every single tool needed to resolve the situation and restore order. Yesterday, the Prime Minister announced enhanced measures to give the police additional tools. And I made it clear to the Prime Minister that any special powers need to be extremely targeted, only used for as long as necessary to resolve the situation, and not 1 minute longer. Because cleaning up this situation needs to be our top priority. Right now, our police forces have every single tool they could possibly need to manage the situation. And I have confidence that they'll do that. And it's critical that we do, because the eyes of the world are on us right now. And I'll tell you, I was talking to Tony and Ron and a few others. You know, for the last 4 or 5 days, I'm getting phone calls all day, all night from your customers, our customers. Every single major auto company is calling me up, and a very simple question they're asking me: do you have a safe and stable environment for us to invest in your jurisdiction? And I'm thinking, yes, 100%. I told them we have a safe and stable environment. But just goes to show you, you know, anyone who wants to protest, go, God bless them. Go wherever. But as soon as you hold up the border, a critical trade border in this province, and you're putting the 4,600 people's jobs at risk here, and hundreds of thousands of other plants are threatening to close down and leave, it's game over. It's game over. You know, we're going to do everything we can to make sure we have a secure border, that the great steel that the women and men manufacture here gets to the end supplier. That is absolutely critical, and we'll make sure that happens. And my message is this: Ontario remains the greatest jurisdiction in the world for jobs and investment. And today's announcement here at Dofasco is just another sign of our economic power as a province, because it's a fact that high-quality manufacturing is the lifeblood of Ontario's economy, and it's in our DNA. It has been that way for over 100 years here in Ontario. And Hamilton is Steel Town. You already make some of the finest steel in the entire world right here in this great city. And soon, not only will it be the best, it will be the cleanest. And our government couldn't be prouder to help support our local steel giant Dofasco and their 4,600 employees in their shift from the furnaces of old to the new and innovative technology. But what this does, it gives every single person here, 4,600 people, certainty for decades, not for year after year, but decades of this investment. Like the roads, highways, and transit we're building across Ontario, our government is saying yes to this project. That's why we're contributing up to, this is a big number here, contributing up to $500 million, $500 million towards the completion. Because I have confidence in each and every one of you. I have confidence in your company and the great people here in Ontario, because we're on a mission to grow well-paying Ontario jobs. It's all part of our Driving Prosperity plan to help modernize Ontario's auto industry and connect the province's industries and resources to the future of clean steel and electric vehicles. Because of our government's actions, Ontario will be a major player in getting the low-emission vehicles of the future built here in Ontario. And steel, clean steel, will be a critical ingredient. Right now, car makers are investing billions and billions of dollars searching for ways to reduce carbon emissions along their supply chain. Well, I have news for all of them. That search starts and ends right here in Hamilton with Dofasco Steel. This project is yet another reason why Ontario is best positioned to build the cars of the future. Our government is saying yes to lowering taxes, removing red tape, cutting electricity costs, and supporting innovation. And everybody knows our workers are the best, absolutely the best over anyone. I'll put our workers up against anyone in the world. They're the hardest working, the most talented, and the ingenuity they bring to the job every day is second to none. You'll not find a better jurisdiction to do business than Ontario, and I know that companies like Dofasco will continue to prove me right with the work they're doing here. Our province has come so far, and we can't afford to go back to the politics and no. There's a few parties that's no to this, no to that, no to that. It drives me crazy, to be very frank. Instead, our government is saying yes. Yes to building, yes to investing, and yes to growing. Friends, let's say yes to a better and brighter future that the people of Ontario deserve. I thank you, and God bless each and every one of you. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you very much, Premier, and thank you, Ron and John, and the whole team here at ArcelorMittal Dofasco for hosting us this morning. It's great to be here in Steeltown, home of AMD for more than 100 years. You are Canada's largest steel producer, and we're proud to be here with just some of the 4,600 incredible people who come here to work every single day. Dofasco is a proud part of Hamilton's history, and today we're here to celebrate its role in transforming Hamilton's future, and with it, the future of this province and this country. This Hamilton plant will be among the first in ArcelorMittal's global operations to replace blast furnaces with electric arc furnaces. There's a lot that goes into that, and the folks from AMD tell you shortly all about that. The bottom line is this: if the car of the future is going to be electric, then the steel it's made with needs to be electric too. With this once-in-a-generation investment, the car of the future will also be low carbon before it even rolls off the assembly line. It's a major turning point for the Ontario global auto sector, and our government is incredibly proud to be a part of it. Today's exciting announcement is another big piece in our commitment to the future of Ontario's automotive sector, which we announced late last year as our Driving Prosperity Plan. Ontario's automotive supply chain is ready to build the electric and autonomous cars of the future, and Driving Prosperity outlines our commitment to help make that happen. This project by AMD is a game changer for accelerating the pivot of the auto supply chain to cleaner manufacturing. The reduction in CO2 emissions from this one project alone amounts to roughly 3 million tons every year, removing one of the largest sources of greenhouse gas emissions in the province, which is equal to taking 1 million cars off the road. The global steel industry is experiencing a race to transform all of their facilities to cleaner production, and Ontario is the perfect place for investment and innovation. And this investment in new steelmaking processes and manufacturing will help the next generation of Ontario's workers to secure rewarding, high-paying jobs in our auto sector and broader manufacturing supply chains. From day one, our government's plan has been to unleash Ontario's economic potential and attract investment by making the province an attractive place to do business again. Lowering taxes, reducing electricity costs, cutting red tape. We've reduced the cost of doing business in Ontario by nearly $7 billion each and every year. And the engine of Canada's economy, Ontario, will be now cleaner and ready for the future with today's announcement. It will help revolutionize the whole auto sector and broader supply chain in the global shift to EV and EV battery production. And our government will continue to sustain the momentum of new investments like this one to ensure Ontario continues to be a North American leader in developing the vehicle of the future right here at home. To the whole team at ArcelorMittal Dofasco, Ontario is grateful for the investment your company is making in the economy of the future. We're excited that you chose Ontario to make this historic investment, and we're eager to show how Ontario is open for business, and as Premier Ford likes to say, especially open for businesses of the future. I'll hand it over now to our colleague, Minister Todd Smith. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much, Vic. What an exciting day here in the Hammer. Thank you, Premier. Thank you, Minister Fedeli. Great to be here with you and our local MPP, Donna Skelly, for this exciting announcement that's positioning Dofasco, already Canada's leading steel producer, as a world leader in green, low-emission steel and production. And thanks to Ron and John and your entire team here, Tony, for hosting us today. It's already clear that the incredible impact that this investment will have on Hamilton's future and the future of our auto industry. As Minister Fedeli just referenced, our government has been hard at work building a climate that gives businesses the confidence to make investments like this that have far-reaching benefits for the environment and clean jobs and Ontario's economy. And a critical part of that work has been ensuring access to clean and affordable electricity supply. As companies like Dofasco make investments to electrify their operations, they can do so confident in the fact that they have access to one of the cleanest electricity systems in the world, with more than 90% of generation producing zero emissions. That means that we're maximizing the reduction in emissions, we're powering these new electric arc furnaces with zero emission sources like nuclear and hydroelectric power. But companies like Dofasco couldn't make a transition like this if electricity is unaffordable. And having served as critic for the energy file before we came to government, I know I heard about this barrier to investment daily, and that's why we've been working so hard over the last number of years to fix this. Time and time again under the previous government, employers ended up going somewhere else due to the province's high industrial electricity prices. And our government is saying yes to new investment and yes to cutting electricity prices. That's why we acted immediately to reverse this trend. We canceled contracts for power that we didn't need at the time, saving ratepayers nearly $800 million. And we implemented our comprehensive electricity plan, which is saving industrial businesses like Dofasco about 15% on their electricity bill this year. That savings that can go back into investments like today's big investment here in Steeltown, into growing the business here, and into supporting good-paying jobs here in Hamilton, as the Premier says, for generations to come. Ron and John, thanks for this forward-looking and innovative investment that seizes on our province's clean and affordable energy advantage. This project is going to be another critical step forward, making Ontario the best place to build cars of the future. And John, I'll now hand it over to you. Thanks everyone for being here today, and thanks to the men and women working so hard.
Thank you, Minister Smith, and good morning, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here to mark this occasion, as it represents a significant step in the decarbonization of ArcelorMittal's largest operation in Canada. It would not be possible without the support and partnership of the Government of Ontario. I want to thank Premier Ford and Minister Fedeli for their leadership. Today's investment is a vote of confidence for Ontario and for the thousands of employees who make Dofasco such a strong and steady contributor to the Ontario economy. From a global perspective, this is a kind of environment that is attractive when decisions are made to allocate global investment dollars. ArcelorMittal is committed to leading the way in decarbonizing our industry because we want to be part of the solution to reaching net zero by 2050. In addition to our own company's 2050 net zero target, we've also set a target of reducing our CO2 emissions intensity by 25% worldwide by 2030. On the important topic of decarbonization, I want to take this opportunity to tell you about the leadership position we've taken at ArcelorMittal. We recently launched the XCarb brand, which is reserved for reduced, low, and zero carbon products and steelmaking activities. This includes the XCarb Innovation Fund, which supports breakthrough technologies that will help steel companies get to net zero. X-Carb green certificates for our customers to offset Scope 3 emissions, and X-Carb recycled and renewably produced products. At the same time, ArcelorMittal is the first company in the world to have facilities certified by Responsible Steel, our industry's first global multi-stakeholder standard and certification body. It ensures that businesses and consumers can be confident that the steel they used has been sourced and produced reasonably at every step. Reducing our CO2 intensity worldwide by 25% by 2030 is ambitious, but we believe it's achievable. And we believe it's our responsibility to invent or innovate the processes and technologies that will enable us to reach that goal. As part of that, we understand in the coming years, the assets used to make steel will undergo a transformation at a scale that hasn't been seen for decades. We've already started this. In Belgium, our reline blast furnace is ready to take waste wood and plastics as a substitute for fossil carbon. In Spain, we are creating the world's first scale zero carbon emission steel plant. And in France, we will change steelmaking in our operation by reducing close to 40% of our CO2 emissions in that country. Amongst these flagship projects is our work here in Hamilton at ArcelorMittal Dofasco. First thoughts on today's announcement, it's my pleasure to introduce the person who will lead this extraordinary project in Hamilton, our President and CEO, Ron Bedard.
Thank you very much, John. I am beyond proud to be here to represent the employees of ArcelorMittal Dofasco, who design, manufacture, and deliver smarter steel for people and planet. This investment is a vote of confidence in our company and, more importantly, in our hardworking people. The foundation for this project is the contributions that tens of thousands of proud, hardworking Dofasco employees have made over decades. So thank you. I'm so pleased that a few of our colleagues could join us today in person and that many are tuning in online, as Tony mentioned earlier. Welcome to each of you. I want to take a moment to reinforce our thanks to Premier Ford, Minister Fedeli, Minister Smith, MPP Skelly, and their government for this commitment to advanced manufacturing and to accelerating low-carbon steelmaking in Canada through the most significant construction project ever undertaken at Dofasco. Thank you. Today's announcement is a strong show of confidence in our team and our site from the Government of Ontario. It sends a signal that Hamilton is a centre of steelmaking safety and excellence and a key part of Ontario's economy, and that it's an industry that can help achieve our climate change goals. I also want to thank our North American and global senior leaders, John Brett, who traveled from Indiana, Aditya Mittal and Mr. Mittal, for their unwavering support of us here at ArcelorMittal Dofasco and their vision and commitment to be a global net zero company. Thank you. ArcelorMittal is doing incredible work globally to lead the race to net zero in steelmaking. As John mentioned, the X-Carb portfolio of initiatives is a comprehensive approach to reaching our industry goals. Responsible steel certification is also an important achievement that ArcelorMittal has led. As ArcelorMittal Dofasco, we are targeting responsible steel certification by the end of June this year. This certification will be a testament to our balanced approach to sustainability. Our decarbonization investment project has taken shape over 3 years of extensive study, including benchmarking technical standards around the world. I want to thank all of those involved in that work. Being here today would not have been possible without all of that work. All options for the newest, most advanced technology that achieves maximum carbon reduction for steelmaking, enhanced product capability and quality, and advanced manufacturing employment opportunities were explored. Extensive benchmarking and modeling were also completed in preparing the ultimate plan for the sustainability of the environment, the company, the employees, customers, and our community. That work brings us to today's announcement and to our vision becoming a reality. There are a few things I want to reinforce this morning. First, and always first, we're committed to completing this project safely. This is the most significant construction project ever undertaken at Dofasco, and the most important achievement in the project timeline will be that everybody working safely on site and returning home to their family unharmed. The scale of this investment strengthens our steelmaking future in Hamilton for yet another generation. After 109 years, ArcelorMittal Dofasco is positioned to continue its legacy and leadership in Canadian manufacturing. This is possible only through partnership with the government. I'm excited for the opportunities that this project provides for our talented employees. They will soon be working on the most technologically advanced steelmaking operation in the world. This project will significantly reduce the environmental impact of steelmaking, addressing climate change and other air emissions. That's because we will fundamentally change the way we make steel. We will decommission our coke plants and our blast furnaces, as well as our BOF steelmaking stream. Coal will not be used in our future processes here at Dofasco. Instead, the future will see us make our exceptional flat-rolled steel in direct reduced iron facilities with electric arc furnace processes, helping our customers lower their carbon footprint and ensuring that key supply chains in Ontario, like automotive and construction, manufacturing, drive sustainability. While our completion is currently targeted by 2028, we will look for opportunities to accelerate these timelines where possible. And beyond this initial investment, research is already underway for future utilization of clean technologies with materials like hydrogen, biocarbon, carbon capture, utilization, and storage. We're also targeting hydrogen as a fuel for the DRI facility. This all supports the growth of Ontario's low-carbon economy. Our journey to being carbon neutral, to be the best steelmaking complex of the future, is well underway. I look forward to keeping everyone abreast of the project as we work through it with a commitment to safety and execution excellence. Thank you again for your continued support. Tony?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ron, and to all of our speakers. I certainly want to thank Premier Ford, Minister Fedeli, Minister Smith, our local MPP, Donna Skelly, who championed the effort, for joining us here today. Our teams are excited and ready to begin work on this unprecedented project. You know, today's announcement is a significant milestone in our journey towards becoming carbon neutral. Ron talked about it. John Brett, our NAFTA CEO, talked about the global effort and our effort here at ArcelorMittal Dofasco. But I think it's also important that, you know, that goal can only be reached with collaboration, with partnership, and perseverance. And this morning, I think you've seen a demonstration of that. This announcement and that collaboration was clearly on display here with the presence of our Premier, our ministers, our local MPP, and our local mayor. So I thank you. That ends the formal part of the announcement. I will now turn it over to Christine Wood of the Premier's office to manage any media questions. Christine?
Thank you. We will take questions from the media one at a time from the microphone. If media with questions could please form a line behind me. We'll take one question and one follow-up from each reporter.
Good morning, Mr. Premier.
How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Yourself?
Good.
Good, good. I'm asking about the Prime Minister's announcement yesterday for the emergencies. What's Ontario's role? How is Ontario going to participate? What do you expect to put forward into stopping the blockades and the occupations? And could you just wrap up that your whole...
Sure, Jamie. So the good question. You know, we did what we had to do to protect the people of Ontario. The feds are doing what they have to do, and we're giving the tools to the police to get the job done. And as I was saying earlier on when I was saying my comments, my number one job is to protect the jobs here of the hardworking women and men, not only here at Dofasco, not just in the auto sector, but every sector you could possibly think of. There's $700 million of trade every single day that go back and forth on that one bridge. And when I'm getting calls from CEOs saying, is this a safe environment to invest in, you're darn right it's going to be safe, because nothing means more to me than the hardworking people here in this province. And you have to do things for the very, very few. On the big scheme of things, we're 15 million people, and you have very few disrupting the whole economy, not just here, but plants were closing in the U.S. as well. So, folks, we're in such a competitive market right now worldwide. We're competing against everyone. We're competing against our largest trading partner down in the U.S. and over in Europe and over in Asia. Man, we can't slip up. We have to keep going because we have the best people in the world and the best jurisdiction anywhere in the world to invest and grow a business. And that's the reason we're here, to invest $500 million, because I have confidence in the hardworking women and men here that we will be the best. We are the best anywhere in the world. And it's going to be the greatest technology anywhere in the world to produce great quality, clean steel.
Hi, Holly Mackenzie-Suter with Canadian Press. Just following up on the Emergencies Act question, I guess we want to know specifically what actions you want to see happen here, how you see it playing out, and politically, I guess, if you could elaborate on your support for the measure.
Yeah, something. I'll start off with a political question. I don't care about the politics. I care about making sure we have a vibrant area to do business in. That's the number one priority. And whatever it takes to give the police the tools to go in there and get these people moving on. Guys, I get it. Everyone's frustrated. I'm just as frustrated as anyone else. We want to get through this. I want to get these mandates moving, and we made some great announcements yesterday. In 2 days, we're going to be going to 100% in restaurants. On March the 1st, we're just going to open things up, and thank God, and I'm no secret that, with these passports, vax passports, I wasn't sold on them, but went along and we did what we had to do because the doctor said we need to do this. So now moving forward, the doc says hang in there for the mask. I respect him. Dr. Moore is phenomenal, but something, he's reasonable too. He's reasonable, he gets it, he understands the economy, and I think he's done an incredible job. But thank God on March the 1st, we're moving forward out of this, and man, I just can't wait. Really can't wait.
My question was about the Emergencies Act, though. Like, what specifically do you want to see happen to end the occupation in Ottawa? And politically, the question was more, why do you support this?
Well, it's just, I understand. So it's given the police the tools that they need to move the occupiers on. It's easy for us to sit here in Toronto and in Hamilton and around the GTA. Imagine being held hostage, 1 million people. They can't go downtown. They can't even go to the mall downtown to go shopping. It's crazy. And again, I'm the first to say we have the right to protest, and we have I believe in freedoms and liberties in this country. And I'd never, ever want to squash that. But when you're holding up the economy and you're costing $700 million, and that's just short term, long term, some companies just say, that's it, we're out of here, we're gone. You never get them back. That's our goal. And so we're moving along. We have the bridge open now, and they did some great work. Now let's just clean up Ottawa. Folks, let's unite this country. I've never seen this country and this province so divided. It has affected friendships, it's affected co-workers, it's affected families. And I can tell you guys, I faced all three of them. And man, it's challenging, especially on the family side.
Hi, good morning, Premier. I wanted to ask you about the situation in Ottawa. So you brought in the emergency orders on Friday. The Ambassador Bridge seemed to have been resolved pretty quickly after that. So can you give us, in your view, what is a reasonable time frame to wrap up the situation in Ottawa? People have been dealing with it for 3 weeks now. What in your view, should be a reasonable time frame now that 3 levels of government have declared states of emergency?
Well, all the 3 levels of police forces are working together, Colin. It's the municipal and provincial and federal. And obviously everyone knows I don't direct the police. I'm not allowed to direct them, and I have no need to. We have just phenomenal police officers, and hopefully they're going to move them on as quickly as possible. But I just ask the protesters, guys, we're moving out of this. Why? Why cause pain? The ironic thing is, Colin, they're saying the freedoms, we're giving them freedoms, but they're hurting more people than the pandemic could ever hurt. Hundreds of thousands of jobs, millions of families. As simple as even the food processing companies can't get certain ingredients, certain widgets can't get across the border. Like you can't hold up the economy and affect hundreds of thousands of families. So to answer your question more directly, hopefully the police in the next little while, few days, hopefully sooner, can move on. But folks, it's complicated, Ottawa. Do you know what makes it complicated? They have the kids there. And kids are priority, right? We don't want anything to happen to any kids. So please just bring your kids home, and guys, let's just unite. That's all I'm asking. Forget all this nonsense. We're in such a competitive environment, and we're all fighting amongst ourselves. Well, not all of us, but a small percentage is fighting against the rest. Let's just get along. That's all I want.
Thank you. I wanted to ask about the proof of vaccination certificates as well. It seems like a lot of businesses are kind of caught in a weird dilemma because you've given them the ability to continue on with the proof of vaccination certificates if they choose to. So for a business owner, if they remove the proof of vaccination, they may lose business because people might feel unsure, uncertain about dining in a restaurant with unvaccinated people. However, though, they may also face targeted harassment if they keep up with the proof of vaccination. What's your suggestion for what a business owner in that situation should do?
I think the market's going to dictate. You can go to Costco, you can go to Walmart, you can go shopping. You don't know if the person has a shot beside you or not, but we also know that it doesn't matter if you have 1 shot or 10 shots. You can catch COVID. See, the Prime Minister has triple shots, and I know hundreds of people with 3 shots that caught COVID. We just have to be careful. We've got to always make sure we wash our hands and move forward. But, Colin, we can't stay in this position forever. We got to learn to live with this and get on with our lives. I bet if I asked every single person in this room, do you want these damn masks or do you want them off? They want them off. They want to get back to normal. They want to be able to go for dinner with their families. And there's every single person, including myself, knows people that are unvaccinated. Sure, there's the rebel rousers, and then there's just hardworking people that just don't believe in it. And that's their choice. This is about, again, a democracy and freedoms and liberties. And I hate as a government telling anyone what to do. We just got to get moving forward and get out of this and protect the jobs. I think a lot of people, Colin, probably yourself too, everyone's done with us. Like, we are done with it. Let's start moving on and cautiously. And we've followed the rules, all of us, like 90% of us, for over 2 years. The world's done with it. So let's just move forward.
Good morning, Premier. You touched on it briefly, but are you worried that these protests will have lasting impact on the auto and steelmaking industries here in Ontario?
No, I don't think so, because we're cleaning up the bridge. We're making sure we send a message out to the rest of the world. We do have a stable and safe environment. There's a small group that's doing it. The police moved them on, and we're the best. I'm sorry to be so biased, but we are the best. I've traveled the world. I've traveled in the U.S. extensively. No one can compete against us. Ingenuity and the smarts and the hardworking people, we're workers here in Ontario. We'll compete against anyone, and we'll kick their butts.
And perhaps for a representative from Dofasco, how will going green impact the workforce here?
Thank you. I think going green is part of our future. It's a critical part of our future. Our customer base demand it, the community that we operate in demand it. And I think in terms of our employee base, our employees expect it from us. And so we want to be on the leading edge of that, and we want to continue to be on the leading edge of technology throughout the world. Thank you.
Last question.
Hello, Matthew Van Dongen, Hamilton Spectator. I think this might be a question for Dofasco. At the federal announcement for funding for this project, sir, Mr. Mittal had suggested that if the province stepped up with funding, that there might be a chance that we could do even better than 2028 in terms of getting this project ready. Is that still a possibility? Are we aiming for earlier than 2028?
Yeah, my boss is standing right behind me, and I'm sure he'd want me to answer no different than absolutely we're aiming better than 2028. And it's a goal of all of us here at Dofasco to accelerate this program. So we're looking at every opportunity that we can to work closely with the province, the federal government, with our equipment suppliers, and to accelerate it at every opportunity that we can, provided that we can do it safely.
And a quick question for Premier Ford. Sir, is the province having similar green funding discussions with other steel makers in Ontario?
Yes, we are. One. I'll be transparent. It's Algoma. I don't think they're too much of a competition, but you know, my focus is here with the people at Dofasco here in Hamilton, and are we wrapping up now? Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to all the hardworking women and men. I'll always have your backs, always. And anything you ever need, you just give me a call. And as Donna says, yeah, I'm in my glory with folks like yourself, and you know, you're the lifeblood of this province. Without folks like yourself, we're done. And that's in every single industry. And folks, we're going to get through this. You know, we are. Just give us a little week or so, or a couple of weeks. We're all going to be united because, like I said earlier, we're competing against the rest of the world. And, you know, Canadians, we're better than this. We're much better than this. So let's all stick together and let's move forward and get back to life. Let's enjoy the summer and let's just move on. Anyways, I love each and every one of you. Way to go. And again, I'll always be there to support you. Thank you and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.